It's another World Series. I got to review another one of these. It's 1909. It's the Detroit Tigers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. I know you're thinking it's a dead ball era. It's probably going to be another bad one. They're not going to hit any home runs. There's going to be a million errors. The ball's going to roll under a rope and they're going to get all kinds of ground rule hits. Yes and no. You might be surprised. Big story of this one was the meeting of 22-year-old Ty Cobb from the Tigers and the 35-year-old veteran Wagner from the Pirates, both seeking their first World Series wins. Wagner's Pirates lost the first World Series in 1903 to the Boston Americans, and Cobb's Tigers got their butts kicked by the Cubs in the previous two. So both players seeking redemption, but there was more players involved in this than just Ty Cobb and Wagner, despite what historians would have you believe. They both had complete teams. With the Cobb versus Wagner story sort of being framed as Unc versus nephew, the Pirates actually showed Unc-nephew unity in an approach that put together a bunch of young baseball players with a bunch of old guys from the first World Series who are still hanging in there, like manager Fred Clark, shortstop Hannes Wagner, Tommy Leach, and pitcher Deacon Philippi. Pirates also had a bunch of young players like Dots Miller, Owen Chief Wilson, Howie Kamnitz, and a young pitcher playing his first full season named Babe Adams. A lot of nicknames happening here. They played in brand new Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, which was one of the first big concrete ballparks along with Shibe Park in Philly. This is notable because the old ballparks were made of wood and used to just burn down all the time. It's crazy that it took them this many years to figure out maybe that it was because they were made of wood. Well, the Tigers, 1909, mostly the same team. They replaced their entire infield, I've noticed. They got rid of my boy Jeremy Schaefer and replaced all the infielders with 4 new guys. I guess they didn't like how they were doing and just were relying on the outfield. Sam Crawford, Ty Cobb, and Cobb's undersea friend Davy Jones. This was another controversial season for Cobb. Complicating things in Philadelphia, Cobb did a very high slide into the shin of Frank Baker, the beloved third baseman of the A's. So he was really not loved very much over there. Man, Connie Mack did not like Ty Cobb. He called him a no-good ruffian and a back alley artist, whatever the second one means. I don't think he should have crossed Connie Mack. You don't want that man to wake up and come out of his coffin long enough to notice you. I just don't think that's a good idea. So needless to say, no one in Philadelphia was happy with him. He wasn't welcome there. Manager Huey Jennings tried to get Cobb not to play a series later in Philadelphia that year, but Cobb refused. He had to find a way to travel there without going through Ohio because he was also not welcome there for more violence that he did. There's more stabbings in this one. Ty Cobb stabbed a hotel worker. These deadball guys were stabbing each other a lot, it seems like, or getting stabbed. Things were still not good for Cobb on the Tigers. I mean, he vanquished some of his enemies like Matty McIntyre and crushed Ed Seaver's face. Both of those guys were gone. The next year, in fact, Cobb was in contention for the batting title with Nap LaJoie. The Tigers sent a bunch of congratulatory telegrams to LaJoie after he won the title with help from his team, the series of strategic bunting and having him sit out certain games. Nap LaJoie, who we're not going to see in the World Series, so let's just address his weird-ass name right now. Cleveland Naps were named after him. I think it's short for Napoleon. Maybe he was short or something. He was definitely sounds like a French guy. When do they stop stabbing each other in baseball? When does that happen? We know. Wow, this one was actually kind of exciting. It went back and forth the full 7 games. Pirates, Tigers, Pirates, Tigers, Pirates, Tigers, Pirates. Wagner definitely outdueled Cobb in this one. Cobb did drive in a couple runs, but Wagner was really the man this time. 3 of the 4 wins for the Pirates were attributed to young pitcher Babe Adams, who finished him up in Game 7 with a shutout. 100% the MVP of this one. Babe Adams, 27 innings, pitched 1.33 ERA. 3 complete games, a shutout in Game 7. Wow. The Tigers look pretty stupid in this one, actually. They had a ton of errors. The Tigers made 19 errors across the 7 games, which I believe is the all-time record for a team in the World Series. So they were just messing up left and right. New infield apparently not doing them any favors. His name is Donnie Bush. Donnie. Come on, dude. Also, teams are running crazy on the bases against the Tigers in the last 3 World Series, 7, 8, and 9. They allowed 49 total stolen bases across the series, 17 alone in this series. Catcher Boss Schmidt, I know he likes to stop runners with his fist. Maybe he was just trying to let him go home so he'd have a chance to clock him. I don't think that worked for him at all. I think that was pretty dumb. Last week, I made a mistake I got to address. I said that the 1908 series is the only one where there are no errors in the series. That's not true. There were a ton of errors. There's always a ton of errors. There was one game in the series where there are no errors. Game 5 of the 1908 series is the only World Series game so far where neither team made an error. Forget what I said about Tinker, and Chance. They just were probably throwing the ball over each other's heads and missing the ball with their tiny, stupid little glove just as much as all their friends were. My apologies for the mistake. I was very tired and read it wrong and didn't care very much. I mean, what lessons can we learn from this exciting 7-game World Series? I think for the Pirates, it's that if the generations put aside their differences, uncles and nephews can achieve greatness together. I think the main takeaway for the Tigers is don't stab people and maybe manage your team. Don't just do little stupid dances and yell at them. I love you, Huey Jennings, but I don't understand it. Wow, lots of crazy names in this one. The Tigers, I don't want to talk about the Tigers anymore. But the Pirates, we're seeing Dots Miller, we're seeing Chief Wilson, we're seeing Lefty Leafield, we're seeing Babe Adams. In short, we're seeing a lot of nicknames. And I'm noticing some common names. I think it's time to address some of these nicknames we're going to see a lot of throughout the dead ball era and beyond. Expert on baseball player names, as you know, I actually have memorized all the names of all the starting lineups of all the World Series ever because I just am autistic or something. I've done extensive research on some of the nickname patterns that you'll see here coming up. You'll notice with the guy I chose for the MVP in this one, Babe Adams from the Pirates, the nickname Babe, you're going to see that one a few times coming up. Basically, if you had a round face, a little round, unshaven, smooth face, little chubby guy, they're going to probably call you Babe. If you're a big, strong, dumb country boy, they're going to call you Rube, for sure. Pretty insulting. If you have any Native American heritage at all, they're going to call you Chief. You don't have any choice in that. That's just how these guys behave. It's kind of a cool nickname, but it's still... if you're German, they call you Heine. There's a lot of war stuff coming up. They felt weird about Germans. If you're a ginger, you're a red hair guy, you're called Red. For instance, I might be called Red in the old time days. Okay. If your nickname is Whitey, it just means you were created in a lab by the evil big head scientist, Dr. Yakub. The only one I can't really decode is Lefty. I don't know why they're called that. Some of the patterns I noticed, if your first name is Joe, sometimes they'll give you an adjective Smoky Joe or Bullet Joe or Joltin' Joe. If your last name was Rowe, some variation of Rowe, you're going to get a job for your nickname. Like schoolboy or preacher. I really don't know where that one comes from either. Unfortunately, sometime in the 1960s and 70s, they outlawed cool nicknames and everyone just became named Bob for 20 or 30 years. The Bob era was pretty good. A lot of good Bobs. The Oakland Athletics owner Charlie Finley tried to revive nicknames in the 70s, but he tried way too hard and just called people Catfish and Blue Moon and Raleigh Fingers. Raleigh Fingers is a real name. Raleigh Fingers is a real name, sorry. Sounds like a nickname. And then the name Bob was outlawed in the 2000s. I don't think we've had a Bob since. The future of nicknames doesn't really look good to me. I mean, what do we got nowadays? Big Dumper? It's about his butt. His nickname's about his butt. They wouldn't do that. Yeah, they're gross in dead ball, but they would not do that. I mean, it's Big Butt Johnson. There's just not a guy that does that. Wow, that was a kind of exciting World Series. It was tension back and forth. Pirates, Tigers. Good thing the Pirates won first because the Tigers kind of suck and don't deserve it. I'm pretty sure Connie Mack used some kind of arcane magic to make sure Ty Cobb would never play in the World Series again after the various stabbings that he did in Philadelphia. And that's probably good for all of us, honestly. High batting average is not everything in the world. You gotta have friends. One of the best things about the Pirates actually is their owner, Barney Dreyfuss. This guy really wanted there to be a World Series. He wanted the National League to play the American League. He fought for that. And I gotta respect him and kind of love him for all time. He really gave us a treat with the World Series for all time. Barney, I love you so much. Thank you for the World Series. It's a wonderful gift. I can't go an hour without thinking about the World Series. Barney is a weird name too. Actually, I don't know if Barney Dreyfuss was one of the last living Barneys. I kind of thought that was a prehistoric name because the only Barneys I know are dinosaurs and cavemen. But Barney Dreyfuss, beautiful man. Good job for the Pirates. Good job, Barney Dreyfuss. Good job, World Series. The World Series is for everyone. Well, that's it for the 1900s. We did all the World Series. Boston Americans won in 1903. John McGraw robs us won in 1904. The evil Giants win in 1905. Hitless Wonder. White Sox win in 06. The Cubs win in 07 and 08 and make the Tigers look like stupid little babies. And then we actually have a long, tense one in 07 where the Pirates finally get their first win. That was a lot of really not very fun World Series with a mushy, stupid ball, no home runs, stupid rules. Managers either playing in the games or acting like lunatics, lots of violence and stabbing, lots of spitting. I almost puked in one of the episodes because the guy looked gross. Not trying to body shame, but those fingers, I don't like it. We're back in a few weeks with the second season of World Series Review, the 1910s. It's the rest of the dead ball era, more crappy, slow baseball with no power. When we come back, it will be the Philadelphia Athletics and the immortal Connie Mack versus Frank Chance and the Chicago Cubs getting one last. In the meantime, I got some questions for myself, like how do you do lighting, and are doing portrait orientation shorts going to kill this for me, and like why am I even doing this?